Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Ajax Moneyball. Hello, it's me again. Well, what can I say? This has been a really good journey so far, and I was kind of losing a little bit of faith at the beginning of the game because things weren't going my way, and I'm a sore loser and things like this. And then we made some changes at the Christmas period. Things started to get better. Well, things haven't just started to get better. Things have really started to push on. And I am so pleased with how my team is playing and how well this actual save is going. It's pretty spectacular. Now, certain rules that I've put into place, it's difficult to do this. I spent about 5 hours yesterday and another 3 hours this morning trying to find out a formula for scouting the best players for this Moneyball save, and so far it's been very difficult. It's very different from baseball, because baseball's all about hitting, and so you've only really got one or two stats that you're going to need to look for, whereas football, you need to classify that into each position, and finding just the correct mix of what you want for that is really difficult. You might have a guy who has an amazing crossing percentage, but his passing percentage isn't so good. Well, is that going to affect your Moneyball save? Is it because it is a thing of position? So if you're needing him to cross the ball, really does his passing matter that much, or is it his crossing completion percentage, things like that? Shots on target also is another thing. So this is the part that I've really been struggling with, to find what is it that I'm looking for each player. And what I've actually thought about is I'm well into the scouting period at the moment. I said I was going to leave it to Christmas and then start taking it seriously. I think I started a bit early because of team performances, and we brought in a couple of players over the Christmas period. Now I'll update you on them as well. And I've really now found that the way I was scouting at the beginning was too slow for me. It was taking too much time to set it up. And so what I've done now is I've changed it a little bit. I'm starting to look at overall performance. I'm assuming, for example, a midfielder, if he's going to be hitting 8.0 average rating, he's going to be doing the other things correctly. No? He's going to be getting completions, he's going to be getting key passes, and so on and so forth. So I'm kind of now like looking at, right, do I just look at that overall average and then pick one or two who have real standout stats? And so that's kind of how I've done it. So now I've really got a huge list of players who my scouts are going after, and it's been fun. I'm not going to deny that it's been really good fun having them go after people. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the players I signed at Christmas, and I'm just going to fill out this information about this loan spell, because this guy came in on loan and he just wasn't doing what I expected him to do, and we've brought somebody else in who was. So we lost in the transfers. Where's it gone? In the transfers, we lost. Who was it? Matheus Delagite. We sold him for 41 million, raising to 60 million over time. And as his replacement, I brought in this guy, Denis Vavro, for 3.7 million. Well, let's have a look at how well he's been doing. So I'm going to look at it on this one because you can't really see it on his stats page. Here you can see 5 league games, 1 goal, 0.6 tackles per game, 80% pass ratio, good shots on target when he's had them, 772 he's performing. This guy's really doing it, and he's I've seen him putting in some really important tackles. So that's the type of player that I'm talking about. We got a good player in him. We lost Frankie de Jong. So we brought in, we didn't need a replacement for Frankie de Jong because we had squad depth in the midfield, but I actually brought in kind of two players. I brought in Chadas, but he's more attacking, So he doesn't really play in the centre midfield, but we have played him in the hole a few times. And his stats don't look amazing so far, but most of them have been off the bench. In fact, all of them have been off the bench. But when he comes off the bench, 78% pass rating. He even actually tackles quite well. And he's done really well for us off the bench. So his stats are never going to be high. The other one we've brought in is Simon Tibbling. And this was kind of the like-for-like replacement. And you can see we brought him in for 3.5 million. He's only played one game, and it was actually a good game. He really, really impressed. The other two games he's come off the bench. But again, with an 86% pass ratio completion, he's doing really, really well. Also, in my opinion, they're not, you know, they don't look amazing, but from what I'm seeing of them, they are. Now, Tagliafico was the only player at left back, and we had to look at bringing in somebody else as a backup for him. So we brought in Berger Meiling for 1.4 million from Rosenborg. This guy has absolutely blown me out the water. 1.4 million, sorry. 5 appearances, 7.75 with 3 assists, 1 player of the match award, 76% passing rate and a 4.64 tackles per game is unbelievable. He's also played in the cup and played really, really well. So for 1.4 million, we've got our hands on an absolute bargain. Already his price has gone up to 5.5. I'm expecting it to go up exponentially after that. I mean, he can, if he keeps on training the way he is, he's only 24. He's got a couple of really good training years in him yet. We could see that rise and rise and rise. So as you can see, difference, total, outgoing 91 million, total incoming 29 million. And I'm going to be honest with you, that 29 million would not have included Tadic or Labiad if it had been my... if I'd had my name on it. So that would have been 18 minus 7, 11 million. It would have been, it's not even 11 million, is it? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, about 11. So it would have really been 11 million outgoing. So this is good. This is all very, very good. I'm really happy with it. I'm now going to be able to start transferring some of those transfer funds into wage funds, which is what we kind of want to do. We don't want it to be... We always want to be making, for example, when I look at my finances, we really need to be making profit monthly. But to be honest with you, the yearly profit is the thing. We have to finish the year in profit if we're going to play Moneyball. So what I've thought about going forward into the future is that, for example, if we lose 40 million in a year, we will have to sell a 40 million euro player. We'll have to sell them to make up for that shortfall. So really, really happy, and we're going into this game. I'm going to go through some of the results, and that's the really big part, because these players who've come in and don't look like they've done a lot, look at the schedule. Look at this. Since Christmas, since the Christmas break, not a loss. And I swear I've not done any save reloads or anything like that. We have conceded 3 goals in all these games. Now, I'm going to be honest and say we haven't played anybody of grand stature. We've played Feyenoord once, and we did concede against them. We played Heerenveen. We've got Heerenveen, and we lost 2 against them. But we just played Feyenoord in the Dutch Semi-Cup final, and we won 1-0. Not a great performance from the guys. They did well. I was happy, but it wasn't the greatest performance ever. So, we're going to go on to today's game, or this game is Fortuna Sittard. I know it's not a really big one. I'm probably going to leave it now until the Dutch Cup final after this episode, and we'll finish the year out. That's going to be nice. Going to take a few days this week. There's going to be a bit of a break between the videos this week, so I'm going to take a few days to really look at the players I want to bring in for next season, and sell some players that I don't want here next season. The aforementioned ones who I wouldn't have signed, who I'm not going to talk about. Right, so I'm going to attend the press conference here. He says we're on a great run, so we're in a great place. It's the lads are on a hybrid. It's my job to ensure. Okay, yeah. Ajax men are on a poor run. 17 league games without a win. Oh, they could win here. I'd rather focus on the game than needlessly discuss it, I think. In light of Bournemouth man is interesting unless it's Sean. What are your immediate thoughts now? I want Sean gone because he's a high earner. So I want him gone, but I don't want him to know I want him gone. So at the moment, I'm just going to say I'm not prepared to comment on that. You got one of the best defensive records in the league. What do you attribute that to? It all starts with... I think I'm going to just say tactically was sound. Kesper Dolberg. Oh, let's talk about Dolberg. I haven't even discussed this. Is among the league leaders in average minutes per goal. This guy is on a tear. I'm going to show you his stats in a minute. It's unbelievable. Finding the net roughly every 74 minutes. He's scoring over a goal a game. He's just... Oh, he's unbelievable. And I'm pleased with his efforts. And I'm hopeful that there's more. God, I forgot about Dolberg. Should make some show notes. Look at this guy. Right, his stats don't fly out at you, and I am looking to sign a replacement for him next year because he's a little bit injury prone, and I think that somebody will come in with a big bid. I really do. He hasn't been playing European football, but domestically he's great. 20 goals in 17 games and 29 in 26. This kid just, when you think the game's not going your way, he just pops up. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. He was the one who scored the goal against Feyenoord, I do believe. Yep. So he scored 1 against Feyenoord, 3 against Volle, 1 against Den Haag, 2 against Breda, 1 against Almelo, 2 against Venlo, 2 against Willem II, 1 against Feyenoord, 1 against Sittard. Oh, and he didn't score in the Heerenveen game. So, in almost every game since we've come back from Christmas, bar one, he's scored a goal. Kid's outstanding. So we're going to run forward to the game. As I've said, all the training and everything is being done by my assistant managers and the trainers. I've added some people to the team, some staff to the team, because I wanted to kind of bolster some things. I'm losing a lot of staff in the summer, and I'm going to wait until, I think I'm going to wait until just before the Dutch Cup final so I can let you in on exactly the state of it. But we're going to be losing a lot of staff, and I'm going to let a lot of staff go. The reason is I really want this team to be mine. And I want to start pushing forward. So I didn't really want to just go along through the years sacking people and bringing people on. Although I did sack my assistant manager after Christmas and brought in what's his name? I've forgotten his name now. Wolfgang Rolf. It's Wolfgang. So I brought him in as my assistant manager. Have I done anything with him? I think there was a few games when I was requesting his team talk, him to do the team talk, and then I'd follow it up with a personal ones. But I only did it for 2 matches. It was just matches where I really wasn't sure what to say, and I wanted to see what his responses would be. And I think we actually did concede goals in those matches. So I'm not saying we lost or anything and that they were bad, but I was just looking for some guidance because I am a junior manager and I am still learning, so I can take some pointers from my staff. Dolberg is just, I don't know, there's just something about him. He's really turned on at the moment. The only thing is a couple of weeks ago I give him a really big pat on the back, and I'm really hoping that hasn't affected him too much. I'm going to move him down to the... Is that the goalkeeper? Yeah. I'm going to let Labyad have some fitness. I'm going to have Johnson have some fitness because these guys aren't immediately available. And I'll even... No. I won't... Yes, I will. I'll send Tibbling for some match fitness as well. Shadas, I won't. And Van Bladeren, I need him in the lineup. I don't want to risk having him wiped out. I don't want to risk having him wiped out. Okay, so Ajax Fortuna Sittard. Now this should be a win that we just... I mean, we should walk this. It's a home game. They're 18th in the table on a massive losing streak. The only thing is in our defence, before we even go into the game, I'm going to say that they are going to defend like hell. But Tadic let me down in the last game, and I'm very unsure of whether to let him continue. You can see our midfield now is starting to form a really good partnership, and so is Christiansen and Neres, and this is nice to know. I'm surprised Myling hasn't kind of linked up with anybody yet. Tagliafico in centre of defence? Absolutely not. Bench time for you, boy. Mazraoui is going to come on in the defensive midfield position. What's wrong? Hang on. It's Vorba who's suspended for this match, that's why. Okay, so those guys can't be picked because they're not with us, so we'll have one place available on the bench. Hopefully that won't be too much of a problem. I know we lose that midfield ability, but I don't want to be playing Tagliafico at the back. Kalika could actually. Let's just have a quick look at Kalika and... Do you know what? I'm going to leave Mazraoui on the bench for now. And I'm going to put Blind back in there. Oh no, he's tired. He's tired, Blind. So I'm going to put Mazraoui in anyway, and I'm actually going to leave Kalika in there. So, these are the two new central defenders. One's on loan. Kalika is on loan from Sporting Lisbon, if I do believe. So I'm going to let him have a run out because he needs one, and because we are playing through lower opposition. So hopefully he will not lose too much here. Okay, so a bit nervous about this game because I just feel it's one of those ones where we've been getting hyped and hyped and hyped. The last game was so close. I know Fortuna are going to come in with a ridiculously defensive formation and just sit back and try and stop us from scoring, which is ridiculous when they've only got 10 points. They should be going they should be going all out attack. There should be no excuse for them. We have a 10-point lead. Is that all? How's it gone down? Did I read something? Maybe PSV have snuck up on us. We've got a 10-point lead apparently, but we have got a game in hand, so we could push that up to 13. We could have a 14-point lead, but I'm guessing PSV maybe were behind in games. So PSV's my biggest fear. I think we have to take them seriously every time, and when you are playing these kind of smaller teams week in week out, players can get a little bit over the top. You know, in the Premiership, when you lose one here and there, it's easy to keep it in order, but here it's a bit more difficult. So I think we are I'm gonna say it assertively that I expect nothing but a win today. I think they really need to know that we're expected to get a win. I hope I'm not putting too much pressure on them. I think it's the first time I've used assertive. I send the assistant for any tunnel interviews like Alex Ferguson would. Right, let's just hope. They started it off with the ball at their feet. Let me just change my set piece takers. Myling and Christiansen. Myling and Christiansen. And we'll play on. So, we have been playing really, really well. So I'm really looking forward to hope. Maybe we can get a couple of goals in this game. Look at Myling here. There's his cross. Dolberg, good position. Just couldn't get the header in the back of the net. Myling he finds so much space on that left-hand side. It's ridiculous. Christiansen has problems. He gets a lot of crosses blocked when he's under pressure, but I haven't seen the same from Myling as much. This is only in the key. I think in the key highlights. I think I have on. So you can see. They're sitting back here. They've got that one man in the hole trying to stop Dolberg, which a lot of teams are taking notice of him. Christiansen, Tadic couldn't get on the end of it. I don't know if he's going to put the cross in. Neves back across. Christiansen should lay it off Zayat. Should have turned and shot. Tadic took too many touches. Neres though, brilliant tip around by the keeper. Oh, he's going to consult VAR. It could be offside. It could be offside. I'm celebrating on the sideline there, so I'm hoping that means it was a definite goal. Their manager's kicking off. Please say it's a goal. Please. Yep, it's been awarded. Okay, so let's have a look at it on the replay. Ziyech lays it off. Tadic, it's a poor shot. He takes it once. He is left-footed. The keeper, beautiful tip. But Neres is just there to clean up. Neres coming back from injury, of course. And he's actually doing well with his 11th goal of the season. I'm pretty... Why have we got a second replay? Or was that the VAR replay, the first one? So now at least we've got that goal that might force them to re-look at how they're playing at the moment. Ooh, bad tackle on somebody there by the looks of it. Hutton coming away with it here. I love it when we force them to pass because they always seem to make mistakes. Myling, look at the space Myling's got here. Great cross. Neres across the face of goal. Tadic, first time. Back of the net, 29 minutes, 59 seconds, or 57 seconds. His 8th goal of the season. You know, you're wondering why I might want to sell him. I just think that we've got better options on the bench that are kind of rotting away there. I don't want him to rot because I don't want his value to go down. If we're going to sell him, I want his value to go up. So anybody who comes to me, I'm going to promise them first team football next year if they complain. I don't think they're a bunch of complainers, my team. I've got a lot of control over my team through talking with them. I've been speaking to them all year. People who train well get a good pat on the back. People who play well get a pat on the back. People who play badly, oh, Dolberg nearly got one there. People who play badly get a kick up the arse. It's kind of, I'm really talking players through every step of everything. I've managed to talk players out of transfers. I've managed to talk them out of contracts. You know, the one player who didn't listen to me ended up, people fell out with him because he lied to them, and then he's actually made up with me now and said that he's happy, so that's always a good thing. Hutton's got way too much space there, and Diemes puts it wide. And so I'm really pleased with my personal connection to the players, which is going to give me a little bit of standing with the board as well. Now I know this all comes down to you winning. I think when you're winning, it's nothing. And we are going to have players come up and ask for new contracts and stuff soon, which we might be able to sit down with them and discuss, but I can't promise that any of them the contracts that they might think that they deserve. So we're 2-0 up at half time. I think we've started very well. I'm going to say I'm happy with the way things are going. I'm going to do it very, very softly. Ziyech is looking complacent, so I'm going to have a specific talk with him. He's only 6.7, so I'm going to say I'm not happy. And this is because complacent people, they generally perform around 6.6, 6.7. And if you're a manager like me who says, right, I'm only going to really be hard on them at the end of the game if they're below 6.5. If they're below 6, I'll give them a kick up the backside. But complacent people need it. They need to be told that, hey, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough to push this game forward. I'm going to tell the two guys who are playing well that they can play better because they're already on the ascension. Everybody else just gets less to kind of stew over my base team talk. It seems to work for me a lot of the time, but again, we're playing smaller teams, so we'll have to see as we go back into Europe next year, which I'm more than confident we're going to do. I am confident of winning the league. I don't really say it to the press, but Donny van der Beek picks up a yellow, so we're going to have a look at him. Unfortunately, a lot of my substitutions do come from fitness-related substitutions. I'm not able to make impact substitutions or development substitutions, and that's something that's really bothering me. I think as we push on next year and we'll have a bit more squad rotation, maybe it won't feel so bad doing it, but I feel at the moment there's people like Vaclav Cerny who just don't get their chances in the first team, and that's very disappointing for me that they're not getting those chances. Okay, so can't bring Tadic off because he's the best player on the pitch at the moment. Sod's law. Ziyech gets the header away. Basong to Masoudi. Braun's going to try and take it forward. We want a pushed pass here, or a forced pass. Good. Forced passes always give us interceptions which lead to good build-up, so Dolberg brings it down. See how many defenders they've got? It's so hard for us to break them down. Tadic onto Myling. He's got space here. Myling to the byline. Decides not to play it. I don't know what his thoughts were there. Kalika. Christiansen on the right. Christiansen bringing it towards the box. It's a good ball into Tadic, who heads it straight at the keeper. So, Tadic can come off if we're leading at the 70th, I think. Hopefully we don't have to make any fitness substitutions today. I'd like to give a couple of players a run out against this type of team. Basong, Brafheld, Diemers plays it. See, this is why I don't want to select Kalika. He made a good block. I'm going to give him credit for the block, but he let the ball go over his head, and I don't like defenders who do this. He is new to the team and he is learning, so I'm not going to put too much pressure on him. David Neres played a very good ball there, but it wasn't run onto. Right, okay, he was 64. Let's have a look. Look who we can bring off. I think I'm going to bring Van der Beek off and give your man a run out. Tibbling a run out. I'm going to give Tibbling a run out, I think, here. It gets rid of the yellow card. Myling's just picked up that yellow, I'm sure. I didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention, so Myling, ease off tackles. Would you prefer the match sounds in the game rather than the music, or a mixture of the two? Let me know. I turn the sounds off because it drives me up the wall sometimes, but I'm prepared to do it for the stream. Right, 70th minute. I'm going to bring Tadic off. He's looking a bit worn, actually. I can use that as an excuse for bringing him off. I'm going to put Cerny on there. Now, Cerny isn't a naturalised left player. He's actually naturalised on the right, but he can play on the left. And although I'd like to play him on the right, we've got really good options on the right, and we haven't got options on the left. That's why that's why Tadic is playing out there. It's not Tadic's naturalised position either, I don't think. So, Basong gets booked. A lot of yellow cards on their team. Ziyech chips it in. Oh, what a goal! What a goal! Up over the wall and in by Ziyech. 12th goal of the season. Dolberg hasn't scored. I've jinxed him. That pat on the back, see, I didn't trust myself to give him the pat on the back form, because previously in Football Manager, every time I give a player a pat on the back, their performances go down. Look at him, he's 6.7. He hasn't been a 6.7 in months. And as soon as I've told him he's doing well, now I'm going to sub him off. And now I've got to build him back up to that position where he's on a scoring form again. I'm telling you, do not pat players on the back for form. Don't do it, because this game, it's absolutely written in the code that they'll go down in bloody form. I can't believe I'm having to sub him off. In fact, I don't want to sub him off. Hang on. Oh, have I already made I've already made the bloody choice now. I wanted to keep him out and see if he could just get a lazy, when they're getting lazy, getting a goal. But last time I pat him on the back. Was it Neres? There was somebody, Mazrui, I think I patted on the back as well. Look, 6.7. There was 3 players, and I can't remember who the other one was now. That was the new lad, Tibbling. Good shot. Just a bit of a rugby shot, that's all. Ziyech outperforming everybody and doing very, very well. So that's good for him. I might actually have a go at Dolberg. I might say I subbed him off because he was performing badly. It might just kick him up a notch. Neres, Cerny, it's a deflected shot. They all count. It's not going to get credited to him. But 4-0 is a very good result at home against a team like Fortuna Sittard. I'll give Cerny it in my head. It should affect his score, I think. Some players playing their socks off today. Absolutely playing their socks off. Not a perfect game. They have had a couple of shots on goal. Sirius looks like he was pushed in the back. We're over time here, so I don't think we're going to get this free kick off. No, we're not. Okay, so 4-0 win. Very, very good. Very happy. I'll tell them that I'm very happy with the result and the way they played. Some players are really going to get a good pat on the back in the dressing room. It's okay to pat them on the back in the dressing room, by the way. Just so you know. You're more than welcome to do that. I tell them I'm very happy. Anybody between 7 and 7-9, I genuinely just tell them that I'm kind of pleased. Or for example, here I'm not going to say I'm very happy. I'm going to say you did well. You know, it's acceptable play. These guys all did okay. I let them just stew over the team talk, but Dolberg is going to get that. And I think I might say it to Donny van der Beek as well. I'm going to just say assertively, you weren't at your best and you deserve to come off. Now, Dolberg looks stressed, but we'll see how that works, because sometimes it says players are stressed and then you see a massive rise in their game following it. So I'm not going to get too stressed myself. I'll just go with it. So let's see. Post-match press conference. I'm going to attend. And we're going to say another clean sheet. All the defence do their bit. I don't want to signal him out. Technology played an important part in the win. I'm going to say, because this is a personal opinion, I've always been a big advocate for using technology. I agree with VAR and I like it. And I know it's been a bit controversial, but it's only been controversial because teams don't like the fact that it's been used now. So before, I've even heard Pep Guardiola, who I like, but I've even heard him moaning about it, and he was an advocate for it a few years ago. It doesn't stop. They use it. I think they use it in ice hockey. Ice hockey is a very similar flowing game to football. They use it in basketball. Basketball's a flowing game. You know, American football is a stop and start game, so I don't really count it as that. But basketball and ice hockey, they do use VAR, and I think it's fine. I like it. So I'm going to say I'm an advocate for it. What do you think? Leave a comment in the notes. Let's have a look. Udinese managers, but the crowd is interested in Rasmus. He's not going to choose Udinese over us. Let's be serious. So I'm going to try and wind them up and say he was here to enjoy the football. Used a staggering 35 players. I'm a firm believer in regular rotation. What are your thoughts on the pattern company? Oh, they've sacked the manager after that game. Nice one. It's an unforgiving business. Okay, so Ziyech in form. This is the one I answered when it had one of these and it said praise a player, so I praised him. Never doing it again. But I've learned. So there we go. He was looking at Christiansen. That's well known. Okay, so look, we've got these few games to go. And I'm going to take my time to go through these over the next few days. I'm going to take a break with the episodes for a few days and just let the game play through. I'd love to make more episodes, but I'll look at this in future. I might even talk to some other streamers if I can get in touch with them, because one of the things is I've got such a big database loaded in. My computer is more than capable of running it, but it just takes time to go through. And to play a season is a long process. I'm not in a hurry to get through this. I'm enjoying it. I'm much more analytical of the game than I used to be. I'm going to be honest. I used to play through the game kind of at speed, but now I'm in this save. I've been much more analytical. I'm watching players much more closely in the match engine and things like that. So I think maybe this has been rewarding for me as well. So I'll talk to you again when we play Vitesse in the Cup final, which should be a really amazing day. So until then, I will say goodbye, and I hope to catch you in the next episode, which I think is episode 7. So, toodaloo!